everyone, we're your hosts, Chelsea
and Robin.
And this is Don't Mind If We Do.
Finally, a relatable podcast for women where we can talk about whatever we want.
Don't mind if we do.
I'm gonna wanna get crazy. Be anything but behaving like you do. Make you. Oh, don't mind if we do.
We're back again on Don't Mind If We Do.
Don't mind if we are back.
You're Robin. I'm Chelsea. We also got called Aaron in this episode, so could take it or leave it.
I like the name Aaron. I'm okay with it. Yeah.
But is it double A-R-O-N or is it E-R-I-N? Because I right away think double A.
Do you?
R-O-N.
I think E-R-I-N.
Double A like my bra size.
Is that what brought that to mind?
Yeah. Just kidding.
Okay.
It's like triple A.
Who is also who you call when your car breaks down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good. Handy. Okay. So what are we doing today?
We're doing women in trades, which I'm really excited
we're not
about.
Doing women in trades. We're talking with them.
Doing women in trades.
You can do what you want.
Okay.
We're chatting with some lovely women contractors.
Mm-hmm.
Two different ladies, Brittany and Rachel. They're both...
They're both nothing.
hilarious.
Big gap in time.
Oh, they are both... I was going to say beautiful, but that's really like... goes against the whole point of
what
this.
women in trades want to be known as, right?
Yeah, so let's take that back.
They're both very skilled in what they do.
Both,
I think is that,
and they know how to read.
Yes, which is
also
huge, important
in the trades.
I think it's neat though. These are skills that I don't possess, and I feel like these are jobs that I could never do. Like I can't go into a place and think about spatially how it would look, how it could be reorganized.
Right.
Like
from start to finish of
exactly.
a job.
I can't conceptualize that.
I have to see it done.
Yeah, me too. So I'm just like, and even then, and people are like, "Oh yeah, you could take out this wall," and I'm like, "No, I couldn't.
No.
What would I put there?"
Right.
Yeah,
the house would fall down.
Right,
Probably would if you did it wrong. Actually,
I should hire Rachel and Brittany to come in instead. Right?
Totally. My sister's renovating their house, and they're doing most of it themselves, and it's definitely not something that I could do.
No. So I think that it's super admirable, and I feel like growing up, my dad was an electrician, right?
Yeah.
And so it was always
cool.
neat. But even into my 20s and 30s, I'd be like, "Dad, can you come over and fix the lights, or can you fix the fan in the shower, or whatever?" Like I don't know how to do any of these things myself, even though I grew up in an environment where I could have learned from a man who was very generous and was able to show me how to do all the right things. But for whatever reason, I was just busy doing my own life and didn't, right? Yeah. But now I wish I had of, because these are the things that now as a homeowner, I'm like, shoot, nobody's going to come over here and just fix this, right?
No. You need to date an electrician.
If there are any electricians listening, or anyone that knows
Single
an electrician,
ones.
single preferably, yes.
Preferably.
Yeah, preferably. Yeah.
Then give Robin a call.
Yeah.
Because it is handy. I know one. I could send you
handy
his number.
and handsy.
Right, a little bit of both. We should probably drink now.
Yeah.
Although,
let's drink to that.
However, what we're drinking today is non-alcoholic, because Robin seems to think I need to curb my drinking.
Bière sans alcool is how it is pronounced en français, which I'm reading from the back of the can. Okay? It's a sour beer.
Alcool. Yeah. Non-alcoholic beer. Sour. Tropical sour craft beer.
This is the kind of beer
it's from Montreal.
You would drink, like, when you were finishing up your women in trades job, and you were like, "Oh, I wanted a beer, but I can't have one because I'm busy." Well, you were out, just on the job, or maybe you're still on the job, and you're like, "Oh no, I guess you can't drink when you're on the job."
Yes, you can.
You can,
especially in trades. Come on. Okay, cheers. Good clink. We're not using the paper glasses today. Mm-hmm. It smells good.
Mm-hmm. It tastes great.
Does it?
I love it. It's got like this really sour kick at the very back. Oh, that's good.
That's amazing.
That's delicious.
It's like grapefruit juice.
Mon Dieu, that's good.
I have turned into a non-alcoholic.
Said no one ever except for Chelsea Smith.
Is that a thing? I'm making it a thing.
It is now.
I'm a non-alcoholic.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's so good. Mm-hmm. But you still, like, I couldn't give this to my kid, right? Like, it's 0.5% alcohol.
No, I'm already drunk.
That's you. But, yeah, like, I don't think it's kid-friendly. But I know that pregnant people sometimes drink the 0.5, the non-alcoholic.
Oh, is that
It says
allowed?
less than. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I'm not pregnant, neither are you, so cheers.
Cheers! Women in Trades, here we come. We're super stoked for our Women in Trades episodes here on Don't Mind If We Do. And we have two lovely ladies who, if I were just to meet you on the street randomly, I would never think, oh, both of these women are going to come over later and build me a house. But they are.
But they could.
They could, right?
They're also confirmed to be wearing pants. For this episode, you have
this is a first.
checked.
This is a first time that our guests have been wearing pants. So congratulations, ladies.
It's true.
And congratulations
professionals.
to both of you on your businesses and being such incredible professionals. I'm super excited to have Rachel and Brittany here. Both of you are contractors. So this is literally what you do. You build me and Chelsea a home. Is that?
That's preferably separate.
Yeah.
Oh, together?
Hey. Rachel?
Yeah, so I'm involved in commercial institutional construction, so I wouldn't necessarily build you a house. However, I could build you a new studio to record in, or a school, or a public building of some sort.
Perfect. I love a good public building.
Yes.
Like a public bathroom? Could you build us a public bathroom? Is that something you could build?
I sure can. I actually have a universal washroom coming up, so lots of washrooms.
Okay. As long as I have my own stall, do I?
It'll be labeled Aaron.
This one is a single stall, correct? Yeah, you'll have your own space. You can do what you need, whatever you feel, put pants on or not.
Yeah, no, I think that's great.
Optional.
Rachel, what's the name of your business?
I work for Kingsview Construction.
Okay, that's good.
With an S or a no S? Kings?
With an S.
More than one
Multiple
Kings.
Yeah, multiple
Love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Brittany, you and Rachel work together often. Explain what you do.
Actually, I've never worked with Rachel.
So I lied just to throw
Chelsea
you
lied
under
to
the
me.
bus this
Okay.
morning.
It's okay. She lied to get me in the door, and gotta fake it till you make it, right?
I technically said I'm not sure how they work together, is what I said. So
Yeah,
they don't.
They
So
don't work
actually,
together.
Rachel and I are kind of on two sides of a similar coin, where she deals with all the institutional and commercial. I deal with residential. And also getting into some of the hospitality and restaurant design.
Cool.
Yeah, so
fun.
my company is called Hammer and Lace Contracting and Hammer and Lace Design.
So good.
Oh my God, I love that name. That's wonderful.
So good.
Thank you. I started them out of the pandemic and not being able to, do what I usually do. And
What was that? I'm curious to know. What were you doing then before the pandemic? How did this come to be?
Great question.
Great question.
well, out of the list of questions you've given me, we can knock a couple of those off.
That wasn't one of them.
We
Okay,
didn't give you any questions.
Here's what we do.
It's improv.
We provide questions and then we don't use them.
I said
that's
it's a
perfect.
very loose,
I love it.
loose question
Loose
sheet.
questions.
Yeah.
So I've been in design and construction for about 10 years. But my go-to has really been hospitality and service. So for the last almost 20 years, I've been in the hospitality industry and taken hiatuses from that to work in different places around the world, different industries, and one of that took me to construction. And then when the pandemic happened and, no one was eating out, no one could eat out and all that sort of thing, I found myself kind of unemployable, but figured I can deal with people and I can, deal with contractors. There's people who are just feeling really, iffy about talking to tradesmen, and there was a space for me to come in and kind of just be a translator for them. And it's grown from there.
I love that. And
awesome.
especially because do you feel like construction actually, either both of you could weigh in on this, has construction picked up since the pandemic kicked in? Because it felt to me like even at the beginning, and I know a couple of people that have worked in this field, they're like, oh, we're busier than ever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
People, for residential, people are sitting in their houses and they're realizing just how their spaces don't work for them anymore, how their families have grown because everyone was out and doing things and you never really had everybody in the same space trying to live their lives until now. And then you realize, oh, wow, we need more space.
We don't fit.
But
we don't fit in here.
And then you look at the housing market out there and it's like, well, we also can't afford to buy something new. So what are we going to do with what we have?
Yes.
So that's where the
same.
Oh, it's all good.
Sorry, Brett. I was going to say the same has been felt in commercial institutional. A lot of businesses, they had to clear all their staff out, and they thought, oh, this is a great time where we won't disrupt, the people, the occupants of the building, to get some of this work we've been putting off done. Or on the other side of that, with people coming back to work, they're saying we have to put this COVID protocol in place to keep people 6 feet away, or have these certain barriers, or a number of safety items put in place. So they need to bring us contractors in to execute on their plan and either shift offices or build some barriers or whatnot. So we felt, we thought at first this is going to be, maybe we're going to have to close down for a little bit and take a break and ride it out for a bit, but we've just been flat out ever since the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's not surprising to me. After hearing and just knowing what's been going on. Rachel, we know a little bit more about Brittany's sordid past. Just kidding. But Rachel, how did you get into this? Like, how does little Rachel go from running around in the streets of Victoria to suddenly building me a bathroom?
Why do you assume she's little?
Yeah, Rachel, how do you go from running around the streets of Victoria?
Right. Also, I have video of you running around in the streets of Victoria, just so you know.
Before 9 o'clock at night,
right?
They're all hidden on Facebook. They're all locked down in private albums these days. I started out actually working for government at a very young age. I ended up getting a job with Ministry of Children and Families when I was 18 years old, and I worked for government on and off for about 6 years. And I came back from a year away living in Australia, and government was like, we need you to come back. We want you to work for us again. So I said, okay, I'll come back. But somewhere inside of me was like, this isn't the path. And I came back for a couple of years, but I ended up taking a different job than what I had before, because I worked in kind of an untraditional government office space where I was dealing with public and lots of exciting, interesting things, but wasn't getting paid enough. So I moved into a data sourcing role, which paid a lot more, but I had the worst time there. It was, I wasn't allowed to talk and would get in trouble for, doing anything other than just having my head down and just typing away. So it took about 3 months, and I was like, I need a life change so bad. And I ended up, a friend of mine knew the owner of Kingsview, and Kingsview was just about a year old when I started, and they were looking to hire somebody in the office. And I got connected and sat down with the owner and said, I want to change, and I have a great personality and attitude, and I'm willing to learn and take on a challenge. And he said, great, come on in. So it's, ever since, making the change, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, many tears, lots of,
hopefully not lots of blood,
heartache, learning, huge learning curve for sure. But, I've been there for almost 4 years now. And so I'm, it's cool to see from the start of, from ground zero all the way up to being able to run my own projects and bid work and, really just kind of be a leader in the business and be able to take on so many different things.
That's awesome. Are you the only woman there, or is there other ladies?
I am the only woman in kind of our construction office, and really out of anybody. We have one female accountant. She works part-time, but I'm definitely the only woman that is in the main stake of the game.
Amazing.
Congratulations. That's huge.
And Britt, you're obviously
Thank
the
you.
only woman in yours, since it is your business.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Me, myself, and I. And
Yes.
I work with subcontractors. I do a little bit of my own work, which is a lot of fun and something that, with the learning curve, I've been able to employ a lot of my existing skills and experience, and I've had a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to learn more with that as well. I've collaborated with Alita, who you'll be speaking with later. We've collaborated on a few
Painter,
things.
right?
Painter.
That's
Yeah.
the painter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, you'll talk to her, you'll all find out how amazing she is. But
Yeah,
I'll just toot her horn for a second here. Like, since meeting Alita, there's so much power in having cohorts of females in trades, because we are so few and far between. I've seen a lot more in the over the last few years, but again, we are still a very, very, very small minority. Between Alita and Ashley, they are two people who, to have them within this industry in this city, the only way for us to go is up. So it's been really great to work with these people, and
it's interesting
really great.
too that sorry, go ahead. It's interesting too that you're gravitating towards using more women in the trades, right? Has it been easy for both of you to get in and stay in these jobs, or do you still feel it's difficult? Because I feel like we're in an age where like we want women to be really supported and things like that, but at the same time, I'm curious to know if you still feel like it can be a struggle in your industries, which let's be honest, are predominantly male driven.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Like, I can't tell you how many times I'll go to a client's house and, a lot of my clientele are that niche market that I am looking for, that elderly, that single person who has a bunch of stuff to do in their home. They don't want to deal with a myriad of tradesmen, so they just want this one easy contact point so I can go and deal with all those headaches for them. But it's something really special to be able to offer that to them and have them, just see that relief on their face when it's like, okay, so I've talked to the countertop guy, I've talked to the window guy, this is when this is happening, this is when this is happening, the stove is coming in on this day. Like, you'll get a call the day before for your time window, and, it's just those little touches of that, weekly, even if nothing's changed, just that little, hey, this is what's going on there's a lot of trades out there that don't really go past the sales portion until they get to the, okay, here we are to do the work. It's like, well, I had no idea you were coming today. So it's a lot of best
the
practices.
Organization. It's a lot of organization, especially for general contracting, right? Like, you're coming in and there's crews, right? Like you said, there's a different crew for each step of the project. Yeah. And so as, for the homeowner or the person that's living there, you're like, what is happening? What day is it happening? We would have lots of questions about that, and you would be the point person on that.
Exactly. Especially if there are multiple crews dealing with multiple things in your house. You don't want to have somebody coming in, you think it's the plumber, but all of a sudden they're going to the electrical panel. You don't quite know what's going on. So that's where it comes in, just to give them a concise schedule so there's no questions, basically anticipating any questions that they have beforehand to make sure that the client is as comfortable as possible. And a lot of them... Are
most of your clients women? Are most of them women? Would you say there's a 50-50 split for clientele?
I would say that there's a much larger amount of them being women. The men think it's pretty cool when they have a woman show up to...
She looks good, though.
She does look... It's a good phrase.
Quoting and whatnot, but at the same time, they...
we should maybe take a picture to
have that,
show her
hi, honey,
when she comes
kind
back.
of look on their face.
Take a quick picture.
Yeah, it's mostly women that I'm helping.
Might turn it into a meme later.
Yeah, good one.
Nice, Rachel. Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
We
Hold
are
that. Do
still
it again.
frozen.
Do it again, Rachel. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
You were kidding.
Nothing happened at all. Nothing weird happened there at all.
There she is. She's back. Okay.
Okay.
So
just continue.
We missed all of that.
Sorry, we missed that just because you were busy somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe you just went to the bathroom or something.
No. I think that you guys just I thought you guys kicked me out of here.
That does happen on occasion.
We're done talking.
Like, yeah, that's happened before. Okay, I won't lie to you.
No, we just took pictures. We'll send them later.
Oh, good.
So back it up a bit.
Back it up and tell us, are most of your clients women?
Yes, most of my clients are women. I do have the occasional male client, which is wonderful. I enjoy working with men and women, both on the trade side and on the client side. But my main focus is with the women, because it's much easier for them to be taken advantage of. And unfortunately, it happens. It happened to my Nana, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back that got me angry enough to start a company.
Amazing. Yeah. Can we ask you like a little bit more about that story? And sorry, Rachel, we're going to come to you and ask you a bunch of questions next. So
you can freeze now on your end, Rachel.
But I'm curious to know, because that's a story, right? And that's probably a story that many people can relate to, is that, you know, like their mom or their grandmother or going to a car lot and not understanding the reasons, you know what I mean, to buy a car.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing that women often come up against. Can we ask you to share a bit more of that story about your grandmother?
So, well, I mean, to share that story, it kind of starts when my mom had her house purchased by a developer about 15 years ago. On Happy Valley Road, just down from Souk Road, where a whole bunch of building has been happening. We had a wonderful little corner lot, and at a yard sale, a developer came and offered my mom close to $700,000 for her house in the lot. The house was a tear down. My mom figured, if he's just coming to a yard sale offering that, it's worth more. She waited. The developer who finally ended up buying it, bought it for, I think it was like $250,000.
Oh no.
What?
Yeah. I was off gallivanting somewhere else. Probably, I think I was in Amsterdam at the time, maybe, or Vancouver. I can't remember. It was after graduation. And I found this out when I came home, and, you know, that really pissed me off. And then last year, pandemic time, my Nana wanted to have a small portion of her house painted. And I happened to be over, and I saw the check, and I'm like, what did you have done? Because at the time, I'd been working with home services, and I knew, you know, generally what it should be. She showed me, and I was appalled. I was heartbroken. I was angry. The fact that, you know, my papa had passed away about a year before, and he was the one that used to deal with all the tradesmen, and they wouldn't dare rip him off.
Right.
So to see this happen in my own family, and, you know, I also gave her a little bit of heck, because, like, if you're going to have something done, have me over so I can talk to the person. But yeah, it really grinded my gears. So I figured, I have time, I have skills, I can do something about this.
Yeah.
So that's where it all started.
So she got charged way too much for a small job, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yep.
It really is. Also, thank you for using the reference "Grind My Gears" by Peter Griffin on Family Guy.
I love that one.
Just wait till I fall off my chair. I can do another Peter Griffin skit for you.
Oh my God, the best. That's the best. Rachel, what about you? Like, coming up in commercial. I mean, this is a whole other area which I'm completely not familiar with. Let's be real. I've never had to build any kind of a bathroom.
I need a
or
commercial studio.
Any ginormous commercial studio of any. But we could sure use one.
We sure could. Yeah.
Okay, no offense to this place, because it's.
Are you in a
so
linen closet right now? Just curious.
Yes, we are. Thanks for noticing.
A linen closet? I am now officially offended.
With high ceilings.
It is not a linen closet. Oh my word!
It's the dirtiest linen closet I've
Rachel,
ever
can you
seen.
fix this? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, but
It's way bigger than a linen closet.
Right?
It's actually a full-on bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's really quite big. You're only seeing a very small portion of
Seriously.
it. And the rest is something.
My goodness. I'm going to take pictures of the rest and send them to you later. Yes.
Rachel, were you trained mostly by men?
Oh yes, definitely trained by men, that's for sure.
So probably
I
100%.
have some really good mentors in construction, so I've really lucked out in that side of things, because I think it's all about who you learn from, it's how your experience goes. So I've been really fortunate in the way I've learned. But just like home renovations, the industry, commercial, institutional, it's mostly men. I've worked with a few women. A lot of the women I work with are like consultants, so architects or engineers, in that type of role. Or
that's awesome too. That's very cool.
Very
yeah.
cool.
It is. Yeah, and there's a lot more women, coming to the table these days. I'm part of a networking group through the Vancouver Island Construction Association called Women in Construction. And before COVID, we would meet in person, and there would be upwards of 50 women there, of all different roles, but all in the industry. And I always found that to be so cool and so inspiring to see so many women get together in the same room that, are all connected somehow, but all with different experience. And so it's really cool to see, and it's changing. I think I started almost 4 years ago now, and from then to now even, it's a lot more accepted to have women present in the room, or, for, like, I go to site and I'll check what guys are doing. I'll say, why are you doing this way? Everything we do is by drawings and spec. It's all contracted. It's black and white. And, sometimes you have to fact check them and say, look, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing it this way? Can you show me, what your reasoning is? But really, you're wrong. This is what
amazing.
So
was that intimidating in the beginning? I'm curious to know that, right? Because I think as a young, how old are you? Can I ask you that? Is that offensive?
I'm 27.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I'm like, no offense.
You don't look super
look very
old.
young. Yeah. And so I'm just like, would that have been intimidating in those first 4 years where you're like, here you are on site with these guys that have been working these jobs for 20 years, and you're like, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong.
Or super empowering and exciting.
Right?
Yeah. At first, it was so scary. I used to shake in my boots all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't talk to anybody. I don't know what to say. But as time goes on, and as I've been getting, more confident in my skills and going through different experiences, it's really powerful now. But also, I always remember that everyone pretends that they know what they're doing. Everyone's just trying to pretend better than the next guy, that they have this big, tough guy exterior. They're like, I've been doing it for 20 years, like old man construction. And you're like, but do you read? Do you understand, where to find the answers? Do you know what to look for?
Do you say that to them? Do you read?
Do you read?
I'm very kind in my delivery for a lot of
know if you are.
They cost me. And then I'm like, don't mess around.
Oh my God, Bess.
You have to be, I always try and package it really nicely, because I feel like if I was on the receiving end of what I'm saying to them, I kind of wanted to come across nice. However, sometimes you just got to lay the foot down and say, what are you doing? And then it's not so nice, and you kind of follow up with the shit emails, and you're like, sorry, I'm the lady that has to write these to you, but it is. So yeah, it's empowering now for sure, and it streams through all aspects of my life. Before I'd be so scared, I'd look at my phone contract, or somebody at the bank is selling you something, and I'm like, why? What's the purpose of this? Show me the contract. Nice. I'll read it, and then I'll find the loophole, and then I won't sign it. So it's giving me some really good skills to carry out through life, but it's really empowering. That's for sure.
I love this. I love this conversation.
That's great. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Yes. Yeah.
It's my turn?
Your turn.
Okay. Curious, do you work with any female drywallers? Have you ever met one?
It says the person who may or may not be a drywaller.
That's actually not.
Do you? Oh yeah, no, I haven't met one. So
yeah,
they're not with the trades that I use. I don't think. I met a female scaffolder, which kind of surprised me. Scaffold erector.
That's a good
but not drywaller. No.
Yeah. So my dad was a drywaller for years and years, and I worked with him one time, and he fired me the first day, within the first hour, and not because not because of anything. I wasn't late or drunk or whatever. That would have been fine.
That's a big difference from most of the recordings on this podcast, just so you know.
That's why I've lost all my other jobs, but just kidding. It's not true.
Haven't we all, though?
Right? Yeah, it's fine. You have to get on a super tall ladder holding a very large, heavy piece of drywall, and then you have to have a very heavy drill in your hand at the same time.
Danger.
To get it into the ceiling.
Yep.
How the hell do you do that? And I couldn't do it. My arm was literally not strong enough to push to get it in there. So he's like, sorry, Like, you should just go home.
You gotta go.
Useless. It's a hard job. Not saying that women can't do hard jobs, because they absolutely can, but I'm curious, there's not a lot of drywallers that are female. It's also very dirty.
No, I think we're too smart to do that. We leave that to the men. We're like, these guys can do it. They're going to get muddy. Their arms are going to get tired. We're like, we'll do like the more, the things that take skill.
Yeah.
Not that drywall doesn't take skill, but
It's funny, Rachel, that you say that. And this is something that I've kind of built my values of my business around is women can do what men can as well. We might not be able to lift the heavy thing, but we can build the thing or find the person to lift the heavy thing.
Totally.
And while they're doing that, we're picking up on something else.
Yeah, or build the contraption to lift the heavy things so that no one has to do it. That's what
exactly.
Got to
so
be
you
a
can
machine
actually
for that.
keep the people that you have in good health.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Not broken bodies.
That's something that a lot of the construction industry hasn't taken into account is the employees' health and well-being.
Yeah,
you got
long-term
WCB,
effects.
but that's a headache and a half to try and get through. So something that I've always really, been a proponent of is making sure that your employees are, physically and mentally healthy. Like in my myriad of jobs, health coach was one of them, and and making sure that you get the best out of people who are at their best. Nobody, no matter what you're looking at, nobody can pour from an empty cup. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the construction industry who are from the time when it was the harder you grind, the better you are. And I'm so glad to see that mindset is taking a shift and that we're realizing that our mental stability and our physical health is what'll make us better at our jobs on the outside. So it's
totally. We're starting a meditation challenge at my office actually for the month of November. Yeah, one of the owner of the company was like, why don't we do a meditation challenge? We're all stressed. Like, as we know, construction is stressful. You're dealing with high dollar values, high stakes, high risk.
High emotions.
Very high emotions. It's one of the riskiest, safety-wise, WCB classifies it as super high risk, right? So you're always having to think of everything and you're so stressed. So we decided to set a little meditation challenge for everybody for the month of November, which I think is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's fun.
We'll
do it with you.
Yeah, we'll do it with you. And also, will you go on the job sites, Rachel, and tell people they're doing it wrong?
Yes.
Did you not read?
You guys be my entourage, so back me up.
Ladies, if other women are listening and they're thinking about getting into trades, what would you say are the top three things the top three skills that you feel are the most necessary to get into this line of work?
thick skin. Thick skin.
I would say can-do attitude.
Okay.
And not being afraid to ask questions. Just, and I have to preface that with being able to find the right person that can answer those questions without being a condescending dick.
Asshole.
Yeah. That's probably one of the most important things.
Yeah. Who are we talking
to? I would say
Doug?
the willingness
Doug
to
or Kat?
learn. I think we can learn anything. Any person can learn anything, but especially as women, if you have that willingness and, you know, that drive, you'll go so far. Like, there's so much opportunity in the industry for any level of work. You can do stuff on site, you know, in the office, but if you have that attitude, someone will teach you.
Yeah. And it's interesting because both of you, neither one of you has said anything like, oh, you need to be good at math. Because I think for me...
one did say you have to be able to read.
Yeah, it does help to read. And it helps to be good at math. But those aren't the top things that you've identified as the skills you need, which as women, we have already all of the skills that, you know what I mean, that you've just said that we need.
Skills.
Yeah. So it's the soft skills.
The soft skills.
I'm not good at
because
math.
they are so lacking in the construction industry as well. Like, just those little nuances, as, you know, Rachel said, like, why are you doing it that way? Can you explain to me what your premise is behind this? You know, I'm not saying that it's completely wrong. I'm just curious as to why you chose to do it this way instead of the way that you're supposed to be doing it.
That is a very kind, friendly way to ask.
Well, it's
Why
like,
are you doing
hey,
it like
if that other way that you're doing it ends up being more effective, time-wise and monetarily, well, why don't we look at adopting that as our new way to do it?
Yeah.
Like it's the soft skills, and it can get really intimidating too. So being able to have that, be that duck with that tough skin where you just let it roll off your back and move on and just take it as, okay, these, there's a lot of people who aren't used to seeing women on a construction site. The old boys club, they get a little uncomfortable. So it's a matter of just being able to not take things personally and hold your own and speak with eloquence when needed.
And tell them to get a book to learn how to read.
Well, there's that.
There's that.
Ladies, thanks for being our guests. Brittany, if people want to get a hold of you, if they need some work done, how do they do that?
They can go to my website, hammerandlacecontracting.com. I have a form there that they can fill out. They can also email me directly at brittany@hammerandlacecontracting.com. That's with a TTANY. I'm also accepting resumes of...
I don't know how to read either.
Wow.
TTANY. What are we talking about? Tanny.
It's not Brittany, bitch, okay? It's Brittany, bitch.
Oh my God.
Brittany, let me guess, you're looking for people to work.
I am.
feel like that's a
yes,
hard
like
thing
everybody
right
else in
now.
this city.
Yeah.
Robin might need a new job soon.
I might. Well, I'm free after 11 a.m.
Perfect.
Okay, that's during the week. That's
what could you do?
I don't have any skills that are required of this job, just so you know. But maybe I do.
Maybe you
I
do.
can do all those things.
You do, yeah.
Maybe I do. Okay,
Who knows?
That's fun.
Yeah, if there's any women in trades who are looking for a place to hang their hat and get a little bit more exposure and, get in with a group of very loving and supporting women in trades, then they can also hit up my website or email me directly.
Yeah, highly recommend you do that.
Love it. Rachel, what
Robin,
about you?
I was
How
looking at
do
you.
people... Oh, you meant me.
Yeah.
Okay, I will
highly
go there.
recommend you do it, Robin.
Immediately.
Do it.
Rachel, what about you? If people want a building built, if they need a bathroom outdoors,
Studio.
your studio, whatever they need, what do they do?
Yeah, best way is to email me as well. My email address is rachel@kingsviewconstruction.ca. Rachel with an EL, not an AEL.
I like how we're all spelling our names. Robin, are you with a B-I-N?
I'm a BIN.
People,
B-I-N?
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe they type my email properly, and then they type my name wrong, and I'm like, you had to type it once,
Okay, so anyone listening,
it's hilarious.
if you do know how to read, their info will be in the comment, in the write-up on this podcast. If you know how to read.
That's
perfect.
If you
Even
don't,
better.
I don't know
You know
what
what?
to tell
It's
you.
the first way of, filtering people, right?
That's true. That's true. Yep.
You can't read the email address. Well, sorry.
And you just don't get the job. So, okay. On that note, and that's good.
That's it.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. We all have jobs now.
Awesome.
I don't know.
I want a new studio, so Rachel will chat.
Yep.
Hit me up.
20 years or something.
Rachel, I'll be working for Brittany after the radio show most days. So, but if you need me, I'm always available weekends. Okay, so no problem.
Perfect. I got a Saturday job coming up.
Shoot,
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm not available that weekend.
She's busy here.
She only works Monday to Friday, 11 till 3.
That's right. And only every fifth Tuesday from 11 till 11:20. Okay.
And she's very expensive.
Well, I'm fine. Whatever you're doing, let's switch. I'm over this whole
9 to 5.
telling guys they need to learn how to read. Come on, I'm ready to come into radio.
I'm just excited you guys have actual business hours.
I just made those up.
She did.
Yeah,
she pulled that out of
not.
something.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, ladies, and go enjoy your day. Hopefully you have the day off.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't Mind If We Do is brought to you by Vintage Chic Portrait, helping everyday women feel beautiful in their own skin.
Thanks for listening to Don't Mind If We Do. If you loved it, please share this episode with a friend and follow us and check us out on Facebook, and we'll follow you back. as long as you don't mind if we do.
You probably won't mind. You'll probably like it.